We're going to be talking about the SAG AFTRA strike. We all know about the WGA, the Writers Guild of America. They've been on strike in Hollywood for 11 weeks, I believe now. And it was announced earlier this week that SAG, the Screen Actors Guild, would be joining them. So the actors have now joined the picket line with the Writers Guild. So we have some videos lined up to check out what's going on with that. First and foremost, I had no idea, but apparently the president of SAG AFTRA is actually Fran Drescher. If you don't know who Fran Drescher is, if you've ever seen the sitcom The Nanny, she is the president of SAG AFTRA. Ron Perlman is striking as well, I believe. Every actor in Hollywood is striking. Every actor in Hollywood is striking. Most every actor in Hollywood is in SAG, so they're all striking. But we will get to Ron Perlman. We will be talking about Ron Perlman in just a little bit here because he said some goated shit. But let's start it off. We're gonna watch Fran Drescher deliver a bit of a speech here. I'm gonna do this so that I can change the volume if I need to.
I cannot believe it. Quite frankly, how far apart we are on so many things, how they plead poverty, that they're losing money left and right when giving hundreds of millions of dollars to their CEOs. It is disgusting. Shame on them. They stand on the wrong side of history at this very moment. We stand in solidarity, in unprecedented unity. Our union and our sister unions and the unions around the world are standing by us, as well as other labor unions. Because at some point, the jig is up. You cannot keep being dwindled and marginalized and disrespected and dishonored. The entire business model has been changed by streaming, digital, AI. This is a moment of history that is a moment of truth. If we don't stand tall right now, we are all going to be in trouble. We are all going to be in jeopardy of being replaced by machines and big business. Who cares more about Wall Street than you and your family? Most of Americans don't have more than $500 in an emergency.
So there's Fran Drescher. One of the things she's talking about when she says that she's being replaced by machines, one of the proposals that the Hollywood corporations is proposing is that they be allowed to pay background actors or extras, as you might know them, a 1-day flat fee of a few $100s to scan them and buy their likeness to use them in films, like AI versions of them in films for forever, which is fucking crazy, by the way. Like, imagine $300 and then you can never act in your life. Crazy. Anyways, here's really quickly. Here's Fran Drescher, her history with unions.
Oh, now we'll have to work late tonight. I'll miss my supper.
Well, at least you'll be able to rack in some good overtime, huh?
What is overtime?
You kidding me? Who's your union representative?
What is a union?
So poggers. You love to see it. You love to see it. Anyways, so when she's talking about the unfair pay for actors, it's really easy to think that actors are getting paid a ton, so why does this matter? Okay? There is a small percentage of actors at the upper echelon that are getting paid a shit ton. Okay? They are still generating like immense amounts of wealth for the CEOs, you know, and the higher ups that they are not getting. So they're already not getting paid fairly, but it's something like 85% of the actors in the Screen Actors Guild are making like poverty wages. They're making way too little, okay? But even then, famous people that you know or may have seen or recognize, they are still not making enough. Now let's take a look at this. Here's a clip from Hassan's stream the other day. Adam Conover from Adam Ruins Everything was on there, and he is talking about his residuals.
She-Hulk writer Cody Ziegler says his residual check is $396. He wrote the episode with Daredevil's return.
Yep. Yeah, that's about accurate for a residual check for streaming. I mean, I can tell you that
that's when there is a residual check.
Adam Ruins Everything, we made for the smallest channel in basic cable. The first year that those episodes aired, I would receive a check for $20,000, which was, like for writing, 20 episodes of television, 16 episodes of television a year was like a great bonus to be able to pay my rent, and other writers, every writer on the show received that same amount. I know writers who used that to pay their rent between jobs. When I made the G Word for Netflix, that show, my total residual payment for the first 6 episodes was $500 for the first year. And so we're talking literally, 1% of what we were earning in the past. And again, $20,000 for work I did is like, might sound like a lot to some people, except that again, we go a long time between jobs, and it's the companies are making so much money off of our work, and this is money that writers have counted on for decades and decades. That is like a fundamental part of our compensation. It's not like, oh, some super sweet bonus. It's like, no, this is how you make your year. This is just how you pay your mortgage.
There it is. You make $20,000 for the smallest network on cable television for writing a show versus $500 for one of the biggest streaming services in the world. Which is crazy because that's not sustainable. That's not sustainable for anybody. But there's more. There's more. Let's look at this one here. Who's this? Kimiko Glenn. Hold on, let me search her really quick. She's an actor from Orange is the New Black. Hold on, let me search. If you've ever seen Orange is the New Black, I don't know if you recognize her. I've seen some of it, but I haven't seen all of it. So there's a picture of her in the show right here. So she posted a video recently. Let's take a look. Performer name, Kimiko Glenn.
Oh my God, I'm about to be so rich. And you got time.
$27.30. Those are her her residuals that she got from being in one of the biggest Netflix shows of all time.
What?
One of the biggest Netflix shows of all time, $27. That's not all. A Voyager residuals payment check for 24 cents. The postage was 40 cents, LOL. This person has been on, let me see if I can go back and find out. Garrett Wang was in 168 episodes of Star Trek Voyager over 6 years as a principal cast member. As a principal cast member. 24 cents. The postage was 40 cents. Let's hear somebody talk about this a little bit. Let's hear Michelle Hurd from Star Trek Picard talk about this a little bit.
The contract, and like we would have these performers come in and tell these things, and then we would hear things like, well, they're just blurred in the background anyway. Yeah. I mean,
the ATTP actually said to us that in the background, they're blurred in the background anyway.
And all this is about the journeyman actor, which we both are.
Yes. And
making a living.
That's a key part.
Making a wage and feeling dignity and respect for what they do. And already on the picket line, people are communicating to me that they feel that way, that they should be able to make a living.
One thing I just want to clarify, because I heard on some news broadcast that they were saying, oh, it's, the background artists, the extras, the below the line people, they're the ones who are suffering and not, getting as much money. I want you to know that all the TV shows that you guys watch, TV shows and movies, but all the TV shows, and you see those actors, you see someone like me, like, who's that? But what's her name? I don't know, but I've seen her on a bunch of stuff. We are the ones as well who aren't able to make our rent, to pay our bills, to get food on our plates, to take care of our children. It's not, this is not an elitist person. I don't have a yacht. I'm a working person. I'm a famous.
I mean, that's she got her point across there. It's hard to hear because all the background noise, but basically she's saying the people that you watch TV shows, and this happens to me all the time. I think this gravy guy might be a leftist. What's up, Betty Jetson? But this happens to me all the time. I'll be watching a show and I'm like, hey, I know that guy from that last show that I was just watching. He was in like 3 episodes. It's like the guest detective, the best friend of the main detective, and he comes in to help save the day. Or I know that guy. He was the coroner. Like, you know what I'm talking about? Those people can't pay their rent. They can't pay their rent. They can't do anything. They're getting zero money. Can I be real? I really miss 22 episode TV shows, like 22 episode seasons. Me too, that's a hefty season. But I got a couple of actors that we recognize that are gonna talk about this a little bit more because they know a little bit more about this. First is Brian Cox from Succession and a million other movies, of course, but most recently Succession.
That's the biggest problem, is that the residuals go down and they're paying less and less. Now, in a way, the kind of streaming services have shot themselves in the foot because they said, oh, we're doing very well on this front, very well on this front. And when we called them to task and said, well, look, what about our residuals? What about our money? Of course, now everything kind of closes down and says, well, it's not going to happen. And that helped precipitate the SAG strike. But also the SAG strike, I say, was very much in support of the WGA, unlike the Directors Guild, who did not support the WGA, which I find astonishing. That's the...
Yeah, he throws shade at the Directors Guild, who were able to negotiate for a contract. But yeah, so that's a really good point, Betty. Is that like TV shows used to be like 22 episodes long, which would have people working for most of the year on that one show. So that keeps people working, keeps people getting paid. Okay, with streaming services, they were able to cut all of those down, shorter episodes, smaller seasons, okay, but they're still making immense amounts of money off of it, and then also paying the workers, the writers, the actors, basically nothing. You saw it with the actress from Orange is the New Black. She got paid $27 for residuals for one of the most famous shows on Netflix. It's like one of their earlier original series that blew up, and she got paid $27 for being on that. Are you out of your mind? This guy, you may not recognize him like this, but he's in Guardians of the Galaxy. So let me show you. Sean Gunn, Guardians of the Galaxy. You'll recognize him as this person here. One of those rough and tough guys. You know what I'm talking about? So he was in Guardians of the Galaxy. He plays a much bigger role in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, which has just come out. Okay? So why don't we watch him talk shit about Bob Iger, president of Kirk? That's Kirk. How are you going to call him anything other than Kirk? What are you talking about, Kirk? I don't know this guy. Sean Gunn, Kirk. From what? Gilmore Girls? Lamau. I don't know Gilmore Girls. Anyways, so Kirk from Gilmore Girls. I just think it's funny. He's in one of the most recent Marvel Disney movies, and here we get to talk shit about CEO of Disney, Bob Iger. So let's take a look.
Talks about what a shame it is. He needs to remember that in 1980, CEOs like him made 30 times what their lowest worker was making. Now Bob Iger makes 400 times what his lowest worker is. And I think that's a shame, Bob. And maybe you should take a look in the mirror and ask yourself, why is that? And not only why is that, is it okay? Is it morally okay? Is it ethically okay that you make that much more than your lowest worker? And if so, why? Why is that okay? If your response is that that's just the way business is done now, that's just the way corporations work now, well, that sucks, and that makes you a person if that's your answer. So you should come up with a better answer than that. Talks about.
Let's go. So goated. That is so Kirk. That is such a Kirk thing to say. Okay. But, you know, with the strikes happening, Bob Iger certainly doesn't have anything bad to say about him, right? President, CEO of Disney.
Speaking of content, we're in the midst of a writer's strike, and very likely it would seem to have a actor's strike. How is that going to impact things, and what are your expectations there?
Well, I think it's very disturbing to me. We've talked about disruptive forces on this business and all the challenges that we're facing and the recovery from COVID, which is ongoing. It's not completely back. This is the worst time in the world to add to that disruption. I understand any labor organization's desire to work on the behalf of its members to get the most compensation, to be compensated fairly based on the value that they deliver. We managed as an industry to negotiate a very good deal with the Directors Guild that reflects the value that the directors contribute to this great business. We wanted to do the same thing with the writers, and we'd like to do the same thing with the actors. There's a level of expectation that they have that is just not realistic. And they are adding to a set of challenges that this business is already facing that is, quite frankly, very disruptive.
So they're not being realistic?
No, they're not.
Why not?
I can't answer that question. I respect their right and their desire to get as much as they possibly.
They're not being realistic, he says. This guy makes $27 million a year.
We can in compensation for their people. I completely respect that. I've been around long enough to understand that dynamic and to appreciate it. But you also have to be realistic about the business environment and what this business can deliver. It is and has been a great business for all of these people, and it will continue to be, even through disruptive times. But, being realistic is imperative.
What do you do in the interim? Does AI
Well,
start to write a lot of scripts?
It will have a very, very damaging effect on the whole business, and unfortunately,
The strike will.
There's huge collateral damage in the industry to people who are, who are support services.
Yeah, the actors and the writers are just doing so much damage.
I could go on and on.
And by the way, what he's saying here is he's claiming that because the writers and the actors are striking, that they're hurting the support services, which is all the other people that work on sets or in studio offices and things like that, which is also coincidentally how the media is framing it. You see a lot of media outlets who would benefit from people thinking that unions are bad, putting out stories like, this is blank. She did janitorial services at Netflix, but she had to be laid off because the writers strike. And she can barely afford her medication now because the writer's so bad and company good. And company just wants writers to come back so that blank can have her job back and she can pay for medicine again. And this, you'll see news reports like that all the time because they're trying to get the public perception of what's happening to be bad towards the workers. They say, oh, they're greedy. They're all millionaires. They're greedy and they're getting paid way enough, and they're causing all the other workers at the studios to be unemployed and risk homelessness. Like this is the shit that they're spewing.
It will affect the economy of, different regions even because of just the sheer size of the business. It's a shame. It is really a shame.
This is the guy who has the power to just pay them more. This guy who doesn't have anything to do with any part of making a movie gets paid $27 million a year and is telling actors and writers that they're being greedy. Okay, it's also rumored, by the way, that this man is the one who said this. Hollywood Studios' WGA strike endgame is to let writers go broke before resuming talks in the fall. It is rumored that he's the one who suggested this. I think we're in for a long strike and they're going to let it bleed out, said one industry veteran, intimate with the POV of CEOs. With the scribe strike now finishing its 71st day and the actors union just 30 hours from possible labor action of its own, we know that happened. We already saw that. The Alliance of Motion Picture and Television Producers are planning to dig in hard this fall before even entertaining the idea of more talks with the WGA. I've learned not Halloween precisely, but late October for sure is the intention. Basically, oh, here we go. Endgame is to allow things to drag on until union members start losing their apartments and losing their houses. There it is. Let things drag on until union members start losing their apartments and houses. It's rumored that Bob Iger was the one to say this. It's rumored. I don't know for sure, but there is somebody who does believe that rumor. And that man is Mr. Ron Perlman. In a now deleted Instagram Live, it was deleted probably for good reason on his part, but we're going to watch it anyways. Here is Ron Perlman's opinion on what Mr. Iger had to say about union members.
But I will say one thing before I get off this. The motherfucker who said we're going to keep this thing going until people start losing their houses and their apartments. Listen to me, motherfucker. There's a lot of ways to lose your house. Some of it is financial, some of it is karma, and some of it is just figuring out who the fuck said that. And we know who said that. And where he fucking lives. There's a lot of ways to lose your house. You wish that on people. You wish that families starve while you're making $27 fucking million a year for creating nothing. Be careful, motherfucker. Be really careful. Because that's the kind of shit that stirs shit up. Peace out.
Fucking goated. Absolutely goated. We're gonna keep watching this. I'll try and compile clips as they come through. There's gonna be a lot more sound bites and things from this. Even more so than the Writers Guild, because I think, you know, these listen, motherfucker, so true, kissing Gonzo. There's gonna be a lot more sound bites, a lot more impassioned speeches from this, because we got a bunch of dramatic actors who feel very passionately about this. So I'll keep compiling clips and stuff and watching this, and but that's all I had for today. That's all I had prepared for the strike talk today. He went full SOA. Yeah, I guess he's just like that. He's just threatening to like burn down people's houses or something. Listen to the motherfucker who said that. There's a lot of ways you can lose a house. I'd be scared. I'd be scared. I'm just saying. If I were them. I don't know anything about that, but I'd be scared. That was intimidating.